What's going on, everyone? We're going to start with that so Jordan has his hands flailing at the beginning of the episode. My name is Miles Farrington. As per usual, we are here to bring you the MONG Podcast of this week. This week, we are on episode 128. But wait, there's more! Like my co-hosts, who are...
Hey, I'm Adam. Happy to be here.
And...
I'm Jordan.
Hey, there we go. So yeah, we're MONG Podcast. That doesn't mean we're jerks. That means we're here to talk about video games. But anyway, gentlemen, well, I guess more specifically Jordan, since this is essentially your section at this point. What's going on with the site? What's there to mention?
We have that's news, and more news. And then we've got Jesse Webster's E3 2016 picks, his top games of E3 2016. We've got Brett Williams' editorial, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild hints at a reimagined Nintendo. It's kind of his take at why Zelda was like the only game at their E3 presence, and what that might mean for NX and for Nintendo fans. So that's the biggest stuff. We'll kind of touch on some of the news, I'm sure, shortly.
Indeed we will. Indeed we will. Spoilers, the NX is just a Zelda machine. That's the only game it's going to run. So be prepared for that. Of course,
Confirmed.
I'm kidding. No, not confirmed. I hope not. I really want the NX to be good. I know that's coming from me. So, what have you gentlemen been up to this week? Adam, go ahead and start us off. What have you been doing since Tuesday?
I'm still playing Odin Sphere. I'm like now probably about 35 hours into it.
Mm-hmm.
And is still a little ways off in the distance. Great game. Friggin' play it. It's kind of like a little hidden gem on the PS4.
Indeed, indeed. And if anyone wants to find out more about... What?
Motorcycle agrees.
Yes. If anyone wants to find out more about Odin Sphere, we talked about it last week as well. And last week being Tuesday's episode because we were late last week. So whatever. Anyway, go check out that episode if you want to find out more. Jordan, what's going on?
I was closing a window just now.
I saw. It was magical.
I've been playing a lot more Fallout 4. Pretty much every chance I get. I'm making Red Rocket my home, my base. I'm getting attacked by super mutants a lot, so I kind of needed to up the defenses and struggling with the settlement creation system because it's flawed in many ways. But I don't know, I'm kind of toying with maybe trying to platinum it. I'm not sure that I really have it in me, so I was just like, well, we'll see how far this goes, and that way, like, my settlements, like, the hardest trophy in the game, I don't know if you guys know, is getting the settlement happiness to 100%. And so it's something that takes a long time, and you kind of need to, like, I don't know, I haven't looked at it completely, but back in the day when the game came out, there's a lot of theories about how to get that happiness higher. And so I've been kind of trying to piece it together a little bit so that if I do eventually intend to go for the platinum, it's not going to be as steep of a hill to climb. So we'll see. But for the time being, I've got some walls and fairly defendable settlement, and I'm going around with Kate still, and she loves me. And we're just blowing people away. It's a pretty good time.
How sociopathic of you.
I've been trying to like be a charismatic character and like lie to people as much as I possibly can. But sometimes the charisma checks, like the speech checks, are they come off as sincere. And Kate gets upset with me when I like try to use my kid as a reason for somebody to pity me and for me to get my way.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Oh, why are you being so nice? Why are you being so emotional?" And like, I'm lying, but the game doesn't realize that, so it's been a little annoying. But I have been just killing people. Yeah, I've been like really tempted to just pull the trigger on certain like NPCs.
Well, okay, that sounds all complicated. That sounds like a real life relationship that I don't think anyone wants to deal with that level of complication in a video
Well,
game.
it's just that the game doesn't account for insincerity,
Yeah,
which is a little annoying.
very true, very true. Robots don't understand love. That's why they're not humans, etc. People. Anyway, are mods out for Fallout 4 on PS4 yet?
Not for yet.
Okay, all right. I was gonna ask about that, but since that's not a thing, hey, what did I do this week? Fun fact: yesterday I played WoW again for the first time in a long
Wow.
time. Yeah.
So it begins.
No, it does not begin. Actually, it's the same result that it is every time. The first few times I would play up until level 10, realize I've been sitting there for like 5 hours clicking. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This is boring. I had stopped. And then the last time, I was like, well, maybe since I have someone to play with this time, I'll actually enjoy myself. And I played with them. They were a lot higher level than me, so they couldn't really help me or something. So I was just like, well, this kind of sucks. I'm not going to do this. And then this time, I had a friend start a character with me. We played both of us up until level 20. I got the ability to run faster. I was like, that's all I've ever wanted in this game. I never want to play this again. And I'm never going to play it again, because I know I don't like that game.
So, Miles, in previous experiences, have you gotten like to a high level character? Have you ever maxed out? Oh, okay. So you've never really gone very far down the rabbit hole.
No, I don't enjoy it. So
Okay.
it's like, as I put into my friend, I need more action if it's gonna be that kind of game. So
There's not a lot of substance to World of Warcraft, really. There is if you want to look for it, if you want to read every single quest line, or you could just accept every quest and go to the location it tells you to go.
yeah.
Has there ever been an MMO other than kind of sort of Destiny that you were into?
A lot of MMOs I can get into for like a day, and then I realize what I've been doing, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think the closest one would be. I think that's it, actually. I don't think. No, Destiny's pretty much it. I don't really like clicking games, I guess. I need just more things to do, and there's a lot of things to think about in WoW, but there's not a lot of things to do, if you will. So, like that, I don't know what any of my abilities did, and I had them all for like a good 3 hours, and I'm just pressing them. I'm just like, whatever. This does 5 more damage, so I guess I'm doing this. But yeah, it's just.
Why did you start playing to begin with?
Yeah, this time
Like
or the first time?
recently.
Most recently? Well, my friend was like, he wanted to level up some characters, and if you do refer a friend, you get like 300% XP bonus when you're when you're playing with them. And I was like, well, last time I tried to play with someone, and I thought that was the main reason why I didn't enjoy it. Last time I played with someone, they, like I said, couldn't really help me, and they were kind of off doing their own thing. And I was like, well, this time I'll be actually with someone, and we'll be playing together, and maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's why I need to enjoy this game. And it was like, I didn't hate it the whole time I was playing it, but by the time I hit level 20 and I didn't pay for it, so the max I was going is level 20, I was like, I don't need to play this anymore. I'm sad I have all the DLC already though, because I must have bought it at some point.
All of it? Like, wasn't there just an expansion on it?
Yep, I even have that, and I'm not sure why. There was like some kind of promotion where if you bought a certain version, I think it was like 2 years ago or something, before the most recent DLC came out. There was some kind of promotion where if you bought it, you like got all the old DLC and that one, and I guess I bought it. I don't remember doing this, and it must not have cost much because I would have remembered. But
Sure.
Yeah, surprise, surprise! I looked at my account and I have access to all the DLC. I'm just like, I don't have any game time, but apparently, if I ever want to just play this for some reason, I can.
All right.
Yep. All right. That's pretty much how I felt about it. Yeah, it's like I understand why some people like it, but I don't. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the. Oh, I have to actually press play.
Oh.
The news from nowhere.
There we go. The news from nowhere. I feel like we need more fanfare than that. Like, it's a really good quote, but I feel like we need music and like. I don't know. I don't know. Just Blue from Blue's Clues. All right, yeah. The first bit of news from this week is My Kratos Will Go On. I don't know why. I just felt like that was a good title for that. But yeah, God of War 4, PS4. Excuse me. Will not feature multiplayer and won't be Kratos' last game. So that's kind of cool. Unless he's going to be like a ghost, which that means technically it's not his last game, but still, who knows. The newly announced God of War will be single player only. Speaking to Level Up, as translated by Game Transfers, director Corey Barlog, I'm going to keep wanting to call him Balrog, confirmed that the new game would drop the multiplayer mode added in 2013's God of War Ascension. We called Ascension's multiplayer a genuinely fresh addition to the series, but said it lacked the depth of anything more than a distraction. Barlog also speaks about the future for the series, saying that this won't be Kratos' last game, and that we'll be controlling the newly bearded hero throughout the game. Oh, that's actually news. I know a lot of people were wondering if we'd be playing as a kid. Barlog also confirmed that Kratos' son would not be a hindrance in combat, meaning the player won't have to break off fights to look after him. Finally, while Kratos is fully aware of his past, his son knows nothing of his Hellenic exploits. I'm guessing that'll change by the time the credits roll, probably. So yeah, that's a bit of new information about the new God of War, answering some questions. I was wondering if we have been playing it. I can't speak today. Fun fact, everyone who's listening. I was wondering if we were going to be playing as a kid at some point, but this is cool. Any thoughts?
I was gonna say that it's interesting that they're already coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be Kratos for like the rest of the series," or like, this isn't gonna be the last game that Kratos is going to be the main character of, or in at least. They definitely are going all in on this investment. It seems like he's definitely a franchise character. That's something that people know the PlayStation console for, and it seems like they want to continue that route. They could very easily not, but I think this could have been a good jumping off platform for them. And depending on the success, they could have decided whether or not they want to continue with Kratos. But they're going all in, I guess.
Yeah, going in for the kill, as some would say. So, does that, were either of you hoping to play as the kid, out of curiosity?
I didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I mean, I would have been fine with it just so long as they did it well. I'm just not really shocked. I didn't really think Kratos was going anywhere.
Well, considering he has been killed like 50 times already, it would make sense for him to stay.
And he's like arguably like PlayStation's like flagship character, like him or maybe like Nathan Drake. So
yeah, very very true. I feel like in the most recent years, Nathan Drake has definitely risen above him in terms of popularity, but he is kind of like the grandfather you can't get rid of.
Right.
He won't die, but he has to live with you. Oh, that's kind of dark. I shouldn't have said that. Jordan, you got any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I don't know. I like playing it from playing games from multiple perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a nice touch to be able to play as his son, maybe in some DLC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I didn't think it was going to happen. I wasn't terribly disappointed when I heard it wasn't.
Sure. Maybe his son will be in like the third game of this series. Give us one game to, get used to him. A second game to get used to him, and also just because Kratos, this isn't his last game, so I guess he has to be in the second one, of course. And then maybe by the third one, the kid will be like grown up. I heard one theory that Kratos could end up being Odin, and that the kid is Thor. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I doubt it, but that's really cool. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Adam, what you got for us?
Horror of the Orient not likely to be released. After years of silence regarding the game, one former producer on KMM Games and Team Bondi's Horror of the Orient has indicated the game will likely not see the light of day. I don't think so, former KMM Games producer Derek Proud said on the Game Hugs podcast. when asked whether the LA Noire follow-up might ever be released. During his appearance, Proud detailed the period wherein KMM Games acquired much of Team Bondi when the team was likely to disband. KMM allegedly brought on much of the staff without worry if the endeavor ended up not working, according to Proud. Uh, this was a team forged in blood and fire, Proud added. They were incredibly talented developers, and while we lost a couple of them in the transition, I have amazing amounts of respect for everybody that put on LA Noire. Proud never explicitly said the word canceled during the interview, but his statement confirms the team's work is wrapped up, whilst indicating that they fought for Horror of the Orient until quote-unquote the bitter end. Team Bondi and KMM Games intended Horror of the Orient to be a spiritual successor to LA Noire. Using the tech from LA Noire, the game was supposed to be set in the 1930s or 1940s Shanghai. Shanghai was the only place in the world you could go to in the 1930s and 40s if you didn't have a passport, Proud said. So everybody running from something went to Shanghai. The team working on the Horror of the Orient game was reportedly shut down in 2013, but was later revived by funding from the funding from the Australian government, which was said to have kept it afloat at least for a while longer. This is just kind of too bad because I think that while flawed, I think LA Noire was a really cool game that had some really, really neat ideas and some ideas that could have potentially even been revolutionary had they had more time to develop upon them.
Mm-hmm.
So it always felt like LA Noire was a game that deserved a sequel because it felt like had they gotten the chance at a sequel, they could have really they could have really improved upon what its weaknesses were while like expanding upon its strengths. I think they would have had something really special had they had gotten a chance to take another shot at it. It's really a shame we're not going to get to see them try to make a follow-up, even if it had been like some other kind of unrelated spiritual successor.
I say it every time. It's always a shame to hear of a game getting canceled, except for The Last Guardian. That game should have been canceled long ago. But it's a shame to hear that this was canceled. I will admit, though, when I read this story, I honestly thought that game got shut down. Because I guess when I heard the studio got shut down, and I remember they had that problem because they were calling it the Horror of the Orient.
Unfortunate game title.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are bold. Not making good decisions, but bold. I honestly thought this game had been shuttered a long time ago. Especially since we hadn't heard about it, but it colored me surprised, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of shocked that they never got behind because got behind an LA Noire 2 because wasn't LA Noire? Am I wrong? But wasn't that connected to Rockstar?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
like because Rockstar's pretty
it.
Okay. Because Rockstar's pretty good about curating like the titles under their company, and so I was really surprised that they never got behind a second LA Noire.
True. Also, it probably would have garnered less negative attention if it was called LA Noire 2 instead of... Wait, I also thought this was supposed to be a DLC originally. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
Hang on, I'll look into that.
Okay. I feel like I'm here. Like I remember a lot of different things about this, just because it is one of those names where you don't forget Horror of the Orient. I'm gonna say it like 50 more times before this podcast is done. I'm not actually gonna say it 50 more times before the podcast is done. But yeah, it's just like one of those names you don't forget. And I remember hearing about it briefly when it first got announced because I didn't really like LA Noire, I didn't play it. I didn't like the idea of it, so I never played it. And then I heard about it, and then I heard they got a bunch of flack from I don't want to misphrase this and then get in trouble for the exact reason, but Asian civil what would it be called? Like the NAACP, but for Asian people.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I heard about them getting flack about that for obvious reasons, and then it was just gone, just poof. Jordan, you have a result?
It just looks, from what I can tell, it was just meant to be a spiritual successor to LA Noire. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be anything in relation to it.
Okay. Well, I'm an old man. I remember things incorrectly sometimes. But did you have something else to say about this, Adam?
Nope.
All right, Jordan, take us away.
Speaking of other games that aren't getting made, Until Dawn 2 is not in development, claims Supermassive Games. This comes from
Oh.
Tyler Fisher. Yeah, I knew you'd have something to say about that. Looking forward to Until Dawn 2? Well, I have bad news. Not coming anytime soon. The news comes from managing director Pete Samuels, who confirmed that Supermassive Games is not working on a sequel to Until Dawn. However, he did reveal that the studio is planning on taking what it did with Until Dawn and stretching it out into similar experiences. In an interview with Game Industry, Samuels revealed that the reception of Until Dawn came as a shock to him and his team. I mean, we'd made something really good, he says. We all like it here. We're very proud of it. But yeah, the way that the fans approached it and the feedback that we got there, and some of the critical acclaim that we got, and the sales, yeah, it could have put us in a better place, really. Samuels went on to talk about how the studio is aiming to create similar cinematic storytelling experiences like Until Dawn, be it horror or not. Calling Until Dawn and its success a stepping stone, Samuels also reiterated on the previous statement that the studio is going multi-platform by confirming the future Until Dawn-like experiences they create will indeed come to other platforms other than PlayStation 4. Quote, it seems that the next logical step for us now is to broaden that out into similar experiences, but with differences depending on the IP, the publisher, the platform, so on. That's what we want, and that's what we're really focused on now, to take what we did with Until Dawn and push that even further. There's a few things at play here. Number one, we all knew there wasn't going to be an Until Dawn 2 necessarily, and it's kind of difficult to do a true sequel to that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number two, I think it's really good for Supermassive for them to be going multi-platform. Is going to mean a lot of success for them. There's probably a lot of people out there who didn't play Until Dawn, who heard a lot about it, and they really wanted to play it, but they didn't have PlayStation 4, so they couldn't. This is going to mean a lot of big sales for them. Three, Sony screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. On a few different pieces of this whole Until Dawn thing. They didn't market this game at all. They didn't give it enough attention even after it was super successful, and they didn't tie this developer down as they definitely could have. It's going to be a huge miss for them, I think.
Probably, which is unfortunate, but hey, at least they'll be off doing something very successful with all the platforms now. But yeah, I guess I wonder if that means Rush of Blood is going to be coming to more than just PSVR.
That's a good question. I don't since it has the Until Dawn
that's a good point.
moniker on it, I think it's going to just be PlayStation VR.
But yeah, I agree with you on what's being said in the comments. I mean, really, you kind of nailed it, Jordan. It's like I think there was a direct sequel wasn't in the cards because there shouldn't have been a direct sequel. Did you ever get all the way through it, Jordan?
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just like really any kind of sequel should have just been a completely new standalone story, just branded under the Until Dawn name. Mm-hmm. So whatever they're making might as well be Until Dawn 2 potentially, because it's even like Until Dawn 2 should have been kind of unrelated to Until Dawn 1. But good for them for expanding out though, because Supermassive has proved they're like a really good studio that can create a really good product, and honestly, they deserve to have their product seen by as many people as possible. So, good on you for going multi-platform.
I honestly thought that after its sales and the mass, the very, very well-received game, I figured Sony would have been all over them, but I don't know business. I'm not a businessman. So I don't know.
This doesn't necessarily mean that Until Dawn 2 can't happen, though.
That's true.
True.
Just because they're not working on it right now doesn't mean that. I mean, I think Sony probably owns the IP,
right.
And they can have someone else work on it, or they could just ask Supermassive to make them another one, or not ask but pay them to make another one. So it's something that could still potentially happen in the future, and I think it probably will. But it's, I think, probably at the forefront of Supermassive's mind right now to like kind of ride this wave that they're on right now and to make it as big of as big of a success as they possibly can and get it out to as many people as they possibly can in order to grow, and then they can do whatever the hell they want.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm sure it feels really good to them to be able to just be like, okay, well, we're big now. We can do whatever. As you said, we can do whatever we want. We can go make a video game about a character named Almost Sonic who runs almost at the speeds of light. I don't know, whatever.
Don't do that, Supermassive.
Yeah.
Ignore Miles.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone should ever do that. Unless they make that game and it's supposed to be like satirical or like a mockery and then actually turns out being a good Sonic again. Because I'm not a big Sonic fan, but those games are fun. Now, this is completely off topic, but I wouldn't mind if someone made their own version of Sonic and it's actually good. That'd be kind of cool. Because, Sega's a horrible thing right now. Anyway, moving on to other things that... Whoop.
Real quick, I just wanted to say something. Charlie asked if Until Dawn is owned by Sony, or the IP is owned by Sony, and from what I can tell, Sony Computer Entertainment published the game, so my assumption is that yes, it probably is.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't have another Kojima Konami little crap fest going on in another few years with Supermassive versus Sony.
I think they probably still have a fairly... I mean, I don't know what the relationship was to begin with, but there's no reason to believe that there's an unhealthy one there.
I mean, I don't think it would happen, but everyone thought Konami and Kojima were cool until they weren't.
It's true.
That's a dumb logic in most situations, but it's also kind of true. It's like everything's fine until it's not. It's like, that's really stupid, but it's not false. Yeah, anyway, moving on. I don't have any more water. But anyway, moving on to something that could be horrible, but we hope it's not. Ghostbusters video game bundle will come with a copy of the movie. I did not know there was a Ghostbusters game being developed right now, so...
Yeah.
Again, color me surprised. Those who purchase Activision and Sony Pictures Ghostbusters Ultimate Bundle will receive Fireforge Games' upcoming Ghostbusters game and a digital copy of the upcoming Ghostbusters movie, the company's announced today. What? What is this bundle? Okay. Okay, I'll comment on that once we're done. It's unclear when the digital download code for the Ghostbusters film will be released. According to the press release, it'll be delivered at a future date. The Ghostbusters film hits theaters July 15th. So what is that, like a few days? Oh, no, I'm off. I'm off by quite a bit. Additionally, the Ghostbusters Ultimate Bundle will include DLC featuring four classic character suits and a bonus trap based on art from the original film, along with 2 dashboard themes inspired by the game and the movie. The game and the bundle will launch July 12th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The Ghostbusters Ultimate Bundle will cost $65. The Ghostbusters game on its own will cost $50, so I guess that's a good deal. I don't buy movies anymore, but sounds good. The bundle's DLC will also be available to those who pre-order the standalone game from the Xbox Store, PlayStation Store, and Steam. Ghostbusters the video game is a film tie-in, of course, starring a new cast of rookie recruits in the post-film world. Okay, it's a third-person role-playing game with 4 different uniquely powered heroes to choose from. There's also a new mobile game called Slime City, and that will be released the week of the film's debut, and it'll be available on iOS, Android, and Kindle, smartphones, and tablets. All the things you want to play games on. So I did not know anything about this game, and that that really confused me at the beginning because I thought that it was saying that there was just a bundle based on the game. But what is the Ultimate Bundle, then?
So there's a couple of things I think are a little miscommunicated about this. Number one, it makes it sound like it could potentially be a straight-to-shelves movie.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I highly doubt they would do that. But it's unclear when this movie would be available to begin with, to download. And I think they're just trying to basically promote as much as possible this movie, and do whatever they can to get more people to experience it and buy it and spend money on the franchise while they still can, because their reviews are not out yet, because a movie obviously isn't out yet.
Yeah.
But
I will say
game could be really good though. You never know.
Yeah, it actually it looks like kind of Diablo-y, which makes me
Mhm.
smile because I do enjoy Diablo.
Mm.
And also, it kind of looks like it's not the same art, but I feel like the inspiration for the game is like based on that the animated TV
Cartoon.
series. Yeah, the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
And that I didn't see much of it, but I enjoyed what I saw, and these characters look kind of interesting.
Are you talking about the old one or the new one?
What? There's a new
They're,
Ghostbusters cartoon?
yeah, I think they're rebooting it, aren't they?
Oh,
Thought
okay,
I heard that.
I'm talking about the old one then. The one
Okay,
with
yeah, the old one. I like the old one.
yeah, yeah,
Where like Slimer was their pet.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Did either of you guys play the Ghostbusters game that was on last generation consoles?
I did not play it. I heard it was like actually okay though, or something.
Mhm.
I
That's
would
what I
say
heard.
it's better than okay. It was good, and it was also kind of really notable because I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. Like I kind of grew up with it. It's one of my
Mhm.
favorite films, but it's particularly notable that it had all the actual voice, all the actors from the original Ghostbusters voicing the Ghostbusters. So that it's kind of huge.
That's pretty cool. I wonder how much.
Now I'd be.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna wonder something. So
Okay. I think it's interesting that it's supposed to be an all. So I'm like on total blackout on Ghostbusters like trailers, everything. Like I don't want to see any of it before I see the movie. I want to just go in totally blind because I know there's been a lot of skepticism around it. So it is all female cast, right, for the movie?
Well, the Ghostbusters are all female. Yeah.
Right. Um, and from what I can tell of the game, there are men and women, and it doesn't look like any of them resemble any of the characters that are any of the actors that I know are going to be in the movie.
yeah, this is a completely
So
new roster.
Yeah, it
I
said that
wonder-
it takes place post game or post movie.
wait, the movie? Wait a minute.
The
So
game is post movie.
Yeah, the movie is in its own universe, even though they reference the other one in the trailers. The movie is in its own universe, and then this is in that universe after the movie.
Got it. Okay. That's so confusing. All right. So, but anyways, I wonder if that's going to be a tie-in to the new. I'm going to double check this, but I believe there's a new animated series. Go ahead.
I hope it's. I don't know. I hope the Ghostbusters movie is good, if nothing else, to kind of shut up all the people who have just kind of meanly wanted it to fail simply because it's got women Ghostbusters.
Which is a really stupid reason for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should remake Ghostbusters. That's kind of the core rule. Is like really you shouldn't have done this in the first place. But
Right.
if you absolutely had to do it, I think going with women is probably a smart move because you weren't going to find four guys that were going to live up to the original cast. It just wasn't going to happen. I will say that I listened to like the theme song to the new Ghostbusters, and it was absolutely atrocious. It's like Fall Out Boy with Missy Elliott, and it's everything you'd expect it to be.
Well, it would have been worse if it had Kanye, so at least it didn't have Kanye.
Okay, that's points to Miles there.
I'm actually kind of thinking, like, who would be the new Ghostbusters?
It's like, I mean, like there's like the most obvious answer would be like it'd be like the Apatow crew. It'd be like Seth Rogen and like James Franco and the more horrible versions. It winds up with Happy Madison Productions, and all of a sudden we've got like Adam
Ugh.
Sandler and Paul Blart and
I didn't
David
grow up
Spade.
with Ghostbusters, but I would feel really bad for people if that was what
It's
became
like-
of it.
It was just like Ghostbusters was kind of a just like a very special moment in time because it's just like because like it's just like the people that were involved are kind of like among the best comic actors ever at their prime, and it's just like I don't think we have anybody who's that who are the equivalent of those people right now.
Okay, so I found out something about the animated series.
Alright, go.
What I found is a brand new animated television series, Ghostbusters Ecto-Force, will further expand the Ghostbusters cinematic universe and focus on a new generation of Ghostbusters in the year 2050 who capture ghosts around the world and help blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, that's basically it for that. So it's supposed to be, it sounds rookie, like unless they're going to be another rookie version of the Ghostbusters that they're going to have out there. And then apparently there's going to be there's gonna be an animated movie of the Ghostbusters too. So Sony's just trying to milk this thing for as much as they can, I think, over the next 3 years.
Well, and I think I even heard that they're planning on doing like a Dude Ghostbusters after this.
What?
Which
Why?
Why? Like, why not just? Oh god, they're
Like-
gonna kill this. They're gonna totally drown this series.
well, and we'll see. Like, if this movie tanks, I think this might all end real quick. But it just kind of depends on how it performs. I think I'm personally going to an opening weekend no matter what. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I just kind of, for good or for ill, I just want to kind of take it all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems weird to me. Just because, like, in modern days, unfortunately, in my opinion, everything is, well, not completely unfortunate, but it's like everything with gender politics. We all know what they're like right now. I feel like if they're gonna make this one with all females, they either need to come up with an extremely good reason for the next one to have male, like be a male team again. Otherwise, it's just gonna blow back in their face. Just like right now, they're having to deal with all the people who are like, oh, I don't want an all female, which is dumb. But and then like, or well, dumb if it's a bad reason they don't want all female just because they're females. And then to go and switch over and be like, oh, now it's all males, and it's like now you're gonna have a whole nother group of people yelling at you because you went back on it essentially.
So Charlie's saying that he believes Channing Tatum is attached to the new male Ghostbuster movie. That doesn't really shock me.
No, I would actually. Ooh.
You know what Channing Tatum is apparently doing, and I'm pretty sure that this is an actual thing. I think it's actually moving forward at this point, and I'm actually a little unreasonably excited about this concept. Is
What?
so.
Mm-hmm.
21 and 22 Jump Street were better than they had any right to be. Now they're doing a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover.
I'm so hyped for it.
I heard about that. It's actually happening.
Yes.
This is a thing. And I know that probably some people's like initial reaction is to get mad about this. I think it's going to be friggin' brilliant because I think that it's like 21 and 22 Jump Street were great, but the only way you could possibly do another one of those films is to take it to the moon, and having them join the Men in Black is taking it to the moon. I think that's going to be a wonderful film.
Oh god, I need it in my life, especially since personally I thought Men in Black 3, or most recent one, Men in Black 3, I thought that one was really good actually. Like, for one, it gave us details about these characters who we knew nothing about pretty much. It like had an actually interesting storyline and everything. I was like, this is good. This is better than the first two in my opinion, because I mean they were fun, but they didn't really have substance, and this one had substance. Beyond like that one story string about Kay and who his wife used to be, and it was like, okay. But yeah, this is like, I feel like this is gonna be an amazing movie that I'm gonna have to show to my kids and my kids' kids, because the idea of 21 Jump Street and MIB and Channing Tatum and freaking Will Smith, all that mixing together, I'm just like, yes, I need this in my life. And if they bring in like Dwayne the Rock Johnson for some reason, I don't even know what he would do or how he would have the time, but I would need it. I need it.
Now, to be fair, I'm not sure if Will Smith is going to be in this. I think it might just simply be the 21 Jump Street people joining Men in Black.
I thought it was a crossover. It's not the same.
I could be wrong.
Okay, I hope
Jordan
you're
looks
wrong.
like less than impressed by all of this.
No, I'm sorry. I was reading stuff. No, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. It's gonna be a crossover because the characters basically make 21 Jump Street. Like that's the point.
Right. Like
it's going to have that. It's going to have that tone. It's going to have that comedic element.
21 Jump Street was a film that was far better than it had any right to be, and it was largely because, you're right, of the performances, particularly of Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, and Ice Cube.
Yep. And then 22 Jump Street was also very funny. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yes. But we've also been talking about movies. This is your newest movie podcast. Let's move on.
Definitely have gone way off the rails.
Yeah. Let's Adam, take us away to your next story.
Okay. Education-focused civilization game headed to schools in 2017. Sid Meier's Civilization V is already at its core teaching players valuable critical thinking skills. Developer Fire Access Games is looking to amp that up by bringing an explicitly educational version of the game, Civilization EDU, to North American high schools. Nonprofit learning company Glass Lab Inc., in collaboration with Fireaxis Games and Take-Two Interactive Studios, is adding a learning analytics engine to Civilization to capture and assess students' progress and problem-solving skills. The goal is to engage students in critical thinking and experiment with the causal/correlative relationship between military technology, political, and socioeconomical development. Teachers will have access to an online component that provides reports on the student progress, developer diaries, gameplay tutorials, instructional resources, and lesson plans. For the last 25 years, we've found that one of the fun secrets of Civilization is learning while you play. Sid Meier, founder and director of creative development at Fireaxis Games, said, "We've always focused on entertainment first, but we believe that our players, young and old, enjoy learning, even if they don't always enjoy education. The hope is that Civilization EDU will prove how games can be used to teach and assess key 21st century skills that are hard to measure on multiple choice tests." Connie Yowell, CEO of Collective Shift and Global Learning Movement LRNG, said. Civilization EDU will be available for download from specialized partners in 2017. More information is available on the Glass Lab Games website. I just kind of think this is cool because it's kind of neat to hear about, gaming kind of increasing its foothold into education, and I'm all for this kind of thing because it's like this kind of thing will bring more legitimacy to the video game industry and video games as like a useful and necessary part of our culture.
Yeah. Also, I know like I was in elementary school when this was a thing, but one of the best ways I felt to teach, or I still feel, is to teach someone, especially students, because let's face it, usually high school and below students don't really want to be there. If we're being like 100% honest, no one likes spending 8 hours a day sitting at one of those desks writing paper after paper. And if they do, more power to you. But most students don't enjoy that. So like I feel like one of the best ways to actually have something like this, like a game or some kind of interaction, like one of my most fun times in elementary school was playing uh, Carmen Sandiego, and we played that. It was like trying to teach us, facts about different areas of the world and the names of places. Or even though I don't think it was really a learning experience as much, Oregon Trail. I didn't really learn anything. I just really enjoyed playing that, and those were like the two things I enjoyed the most back when I was in school. So, yeah, I can dig it.
I was going to mention Oregon Trail too. When I first heard about this, that's kind of where my head went. I was like, okay, this is, not like Oregon Trail wasn't the greatest educational experience. I absolutely agree with you, Miles. It was mostly fun, but it did kind of do a good job of immersing students in that world and kind of giving them an idea of what that was like. It was something that could be used like one time as like one class lesson. Like, okay, this is what it was like, kind of like a role play. And it was good for that. And I think that was a good first step into this whole gaming as education idea. This one might be taking a step too far, I think. Just kind of reading about what their idea of this lesson plan is, like, the goal is to engage students in critical thinking, experiment with causal/correlative relationships between military technology, political, and socioeconomic development. Like, that sounds really, really complicated and something that's not going to be very accessible to younger students or all students. It's probably something that's going to be used in higher education, maybe like later in high school or in college.
No, it mentioned high school.
School.
Sure, that may be what they're aiming for. I'm not sure that's going to be the best place for it unless there's like one class in a private school that wants to utilize it. It's going to be really, really specific to certain things. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's definitely a good move into incorporating gaming into learning experiences. But they may be biting off more than they can chew with this.
Jordan, let the kids have their games.
Yeah. You could be right, but also we have to think. not to age ourselves, but I've been out of high school for 6 years now.
Sure.
I assume you two have been out for longer than I have,
Yeah.
and they're constantly ramping up what they're doing in school, like trying to.
Sure.
They're being competitive with all the other nations. Like, we got the smartest kids. No, we got the smartest kids. We have the smartest future military leaders who are gonna put a boot up your butt. I hope that's not actually what the logic is. But oop, I pressed the button. All right, nothing happened. So I mean, the kids these days might be able to handle it. I don't know. I know usually when we're talking about kids these days, it's like people on internet forums and stuff, but hopefully they're not as dumb as they seem there. So maybe this will work out. But who knows? Only time will tell. But you know what time won't tell? Jordan's next story.
Jordan will.
I have no idea what this story is about, so I can't make a good. I don't know what it. Oh,
So
Neo. Okay.
this comes from IGN. The writer is Nicole Carpenter. PlayStation Neo won't shorten PS4's life cycle. Sony's PlayStation Neo won't affect the PlayStation 4's life cycle, Shuhei Yoshida, president of worldwide studios at Sony Interactive Entertainment, said. The PlayStation 4 is the PlayStation 4, Yoshida added, and, quote, the new high-end PS4 is still PS4, so the life cycle is not going to be shorter. His statements echo what Sony Interactive Entertainment president Andrew House said about the PlayStation Neo, quote, sitting alongside and complementing the standard PS4. In an interview with German website GameWelt.tv, Yoshida declined to comment on the console's details. When the studio is ready, he'll have information to share. Like House, Yoshida mentioned he was surprised Microsoft announced its upgraded Xbox One console, Project Scorpio, during E3. Quote, I was not expecting them to talk about Project Scorpio, he said. It's very, very super interesting what they are doing.
I love the way Shuhei Yoshida talks.
I know, he's great. I don't know, this doesn't necessarily make me feel better about this whole situation. The new high-end PS4 is still PS4, so the life cycle is not going to be shorter. That's not the concern. The
Right.
concern isn't that PS4 is going to continue or not. The concern is that the console that I bought is no longer going to be supported the way I thought it would, or is going to be secondary to something else that you're now promoting. It could also be that he misspoke, or that it's a translation issue. But I think that's an out that we can too often allow for. This is concerning, nonetheless.
All I can say, we've said so much about Neo over the past few weeks. All I can say is we'll probably hear more about it at PlayStation Experience. That seems like the place where they can. That seems like the intelligent place for them to just be like, okay, this is what we got going on. This is what it's going to be. Go ahead.
When is PlayStation Experience coming out?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's later this year, though, right?
Yeah, it's in October.
And this will be the third one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not completely out of my ears.
What do you guys think about what he said about Scorpio? I mean, do you think that he legitimately didn't realize that they were going to be talking about Scorpio at E3?
I think he probably had an idea.
That's my theory, is that they backed out of talking about Neo and E3 because they didn't want to get scooped.
Well, and let them take the plunge on that first,
Yeah.
Right.
They can definitely use any kind of responses that the Scorpio gets to better dictate how they handle their own announcements. I mean, as in the words of, Doctor Who, let somebody else go first. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, with how little we know about the Neo, or how little we have confirmed about the Neo, they could take what they hear about the Scorpio and kind of apply it to their own stuff. Be like, okay, this is what we're looking at. That's what our competitor's doing, so we need to up this. Or they might just, I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
It'll be interesting to see what platform they decide to talk about Neo on, because you mentioned PlayStation Experience.
Mm-hmm.
it looks like it's usually in early December.
Okay.
And Neo's supposed to apparently be coming out this year.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's a tough timeline.
So I might be like TGS or Gamescom.
Maybe.
And the PlayStation Neo is available now.
Spoilers.
That would be the worst.
We had a special reveal deal with Sony, so that's the deal. It's out right now.
Congratulations, everyone!
Yeah.
All 5 of you are now
you now
in
know.
the know.
It's gonna turn out like surprise. Actually, the Neo was within your PlayStation 4 all along. Updates are rolling out today. All of you now have a PlayStation Neo.
Neo is actually just the story of the PlayStation 4.
It just transforms.
It's all a theme for how great it's greatness achieved. PlayStation 4.
Oh, it's like an egg. Your PlayStation 4 just like cracks open. It's just a new one comes out in a different color. I don't know. Oh man, I had
it literally becomes Neo. It wakes up from the dream it was in, and
I don't want that. I don't want that in my house. But yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting landscape for consoles right now, and there's some interesting decisions being made. I still think, releasing info about the Xbox One S and the Xbox Scorpio at the same time was kind of dumb, in my opinion. But
yeah.
We don't even...
really, really super interesting.
No, I'm sticking with dumb. That was dumb. But yeah, honestly, they could pull something like what Nintendo does. Their monthly? The thing where they just like live stream for like an hour.
Direct.
Yeah,
Nintendo
Direct. Thank you. They could do a PlayStation Direct because they're like, oh, we forgot we're supposed to have this out by this year, and PlayStation Experience is at the beginning of the end of the year, so maybe we need to go ahead and do this. Or that could be like their mic drop, just like boom, PlayStation Direct. God, it's in my head now. At PlayStation Experience, they're just like, hey, here's what the Neo is. That's all it does. Go buy you one because it's up there now. I don't know.
I think they could do it with pre-orders because retail is gonna be really difficult for them to hide like all those shipments. It's gonna get out eventually.
Yeah.
Before that happens, so.
Yeah. So let's move on to a new segment that was just introduced 10 minutes before we went live. After last week's wonderful Hideo Kojima excerpt from his interview that we read, we figured it might be fun to have him give us a quote. Not really, but to read a quote from him every week, I guess, if we can have one ready every week.
Well, let's see.
It might be a special segment. It might be a once in a blue moon thing, but this is the Hideo Kojima quote of the show. This was brought up and I guess conceived by Jordan Leffler here. Everyone give him.
It was something that we came up with as a group last week.
Did we?
Yeah, more or less.
Was it said in jest and it just became a real thing?
Maybe.
Oh, okay, all right. Never mind. You don't get any credit then. Well, he went and found the quote, so there's that. So I guess we're just like reading the quote and reacting to it. I guess.
I will read the quote and we'll all bask in its glory.
Okay.
All right.
Quote. In any game, you have an enemy coming at yourself that you have to shoot. If you go back to Space Invaders, they shoot at you when they come at you. So how are you going to protect yourself? You're going to shoot. And that is a typical video game.
Unless you're playing Mirror's Edge.
Unless you're playing any of the video games that don't have shooting mechanics. I
think you might argue that you shoot fists in games that don't have shooting mechanics. Or in games that you don't have combat, you shoot your legs at the ground.
I don't think I like this segment anymore. I don't think I like the idea of this segment anymore.
I am not nearly high enough for this.
Yeah, Kojima's an interesting man, which we've established, and he says interesting things, like the things that he just said.
Shooting is important.
Shooting is important in games where shooting is important, I guess. It'd be kind of off kilter if, Gone Home, Your character just had an AK-47 just blasting holes in the drywall for funsies.
But is Gone Home a typical video game? I don't know. I think there's some truth to this. Like, and
Oh, at this point, yes, Gone Home's a typical game.
okay, I mean, most games, and like, I think that we can allow um, some extra thought into like what shooting actually means. Like, not necessarily like a gun all the time, but like I think that you are often in combat with something. And this is going off more of what he's talking about. I don't even know what the context of that quote was. I'm sure you're talking about something.
So, like in Surgeon Simulator, you're shooting your scalpel at somebody's appendix.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't count
Although
that.
your
I'm not
scalpel
counting.
tends to shoot back at you if you like let go of it or something. But I mean, it's definitely like you're usually in conflict with something, and you have to problem solve in one way or another. He's talking more violently and more physically than, and I think more literally than what I'm bringing up. But
I don't count scalping people as shooting. I don't count punching people as shooting either.
So in Death Stranding, what are you shooting at exactly? According to what we know,
umbilical cords and dead fish. And
ghost
floating
babies.
Yeah, why not?
What
All
if-
above.
what if in Death Stranding you don't play as Norman Reedus or Norman Fetus? You play as the ropes and sticks. What if you are the ropes and sticks?
What if Norman Reedus shoots the baby at the flying people? Like that's his weapon. Is he like throws the baby, and it's got an umbilical cord, so it like comes back.
Yeah, you can pull it back.
It's like Kratos' Blade of Chaos, except it's a baby.
Miles is leaving. Miles is
I
departing.
can't get off the screen completely, but I can try.
So is that we're gonna like take the quote and just link it to Death Stranding somehow? Like this is how his quote could best describe his new game. We're gonna figure out Death Stranding.
Yeah,
What
that's
it's about.
That's
based
pretty
on
much
his quote.
this is podcast new missions. We got to figure out Death Stranding.
We're gonna know what it's all about before it even comes out. We'll be able to supply him with his own ideas.
I'm sure
Based
what
on
we
what he
come up
said.
with would be ridiculous enough that he'd be like, "Oh, Death Stranding 2, you've made it! You've made it! You're hired, all three of you. You're hired. Welcome aboard." And I'll just be sad but happy at the same time.
What if the Death Stranding E3 trailer was just a social experiment and he was like going out there like, who's gonna come up with the best ideas for what this game could be based on the mechanics I've already given him? Ropes and sticks.
Anyway, moving on to the thought from nowhere this week. What is the best pre-order bonus you've ever gotten? That was brought to us by Miles K. Farrington. Oh, that's me. So yeah, I have an answer. That's an odd answer, but so pretty much, I was young. It was a young lad, a young Miles K. Farrington. I walked into a GameStop and I saw a Fatal Fury hat. Do you two know what Fatal Fury is?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. The fighting
I do.
game. Yeah. You know the main character, the
Yeah,
big-
yeah,
the buff white guy with the hat.
yeah. I know exactly the hat you're talking about.
Yeah, that hat. I saw that sitting on the counter, and I'm like, oh, good lord, how much is this? I'm like, sir, I'm but a young boy with no money. How much is this? And he was like, oh, young child, you don't need to have much money. It's not even, I can't even sell it to you. I'm like, what? Why can't you sell it to me? He's like, well, you have to pre-order something. I was like, there's a new Fatal Fury game coming out? He's like, nope, not even. Just pre-order something. I don't care what you pre-order. Just pre-order something. I was like, why do you even have the hat? He's like, don't ask questions. I don't know why I have the hat. Just pre-order something. So I think I pre-ordered something for $5 that I didn't want. I got my hat. I came back next week, took my pre-order back, so I got the hat. So I got a free Fatal Fury hat, which has long since gotten ruined and is no longer in my possession. It is gone at this point. But yeah, that was the best pre-order bonus I think I've ever received. Mainly because most pre-order bonuses are crap, and it's not really worth pre-ordering games or anything anymore. Because practical things are no longer on the list of this is what we want to make for pre-orders for some reason. So yeah, that was my best pre-order bonus. That hat kept my. It didn't actually keep any rain off my head because it was a trucker hat, but and I liked it. So go ahead.
Okay, so when I heard about this, I
Oh yeah, that's the hat.
had no idea. I didn't. What?
That I'm sorry, Jesus Crust linked the exact hat.
Alright, I gotta look at it real quick. That is what you wanted, huh?
I was young and I had just seen the Fatal Fury anime and I liked fighting games a lot more than I do now. So yeah, I was like, I want that hat. Don't judge me.
I've recently been going on like a statue hunt. Like I want to like decorate my desk at work with things that I enjoy, and figures have been like a recent attraction for me. So when I heard about this, it popped in my head like, oh, I know one that I wish that I purchased. The Last of Us post pandemic edition for the PS3 came with a Joel and Ellie like statue. It's like I think about like 7 or 8 inches tall or something like that.
Hmm.
And if you go on eBay, you're gonna realize that pretty much everyone bought it just to sell it because it's now going for like $300-$400, and some of them like upwards of 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. So that's one that I did not get. I don't know. Most of the stuff that I've gotten has not been pre-order stuff. It's been like limited edition things, and I don't usually get those to begin with, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The best things that I've ever gotten are I bought Skyrim Day One, and I got like this cool vinyl map.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I really like that one. I actually just framed it and put it up on a wall somewhere. And the other one I got was the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD remaster for PS4. It came with like a desk mat or desk calendar that you could like punch out like pictures of like once you were done going through it. I used it at work and I really liked it, and I still have it like some of the cool concept art for the games on my desk.
Adam, you got anything?
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because I had an answer, and actually it coincides with what Real Stunt Panda is saying in the chat right now. Is I did totally pre-order the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition, and that was all kinds of awesome. Because like, who didn't want their own Pip-Boy? In recent memory, if we're talking not just like special edition, but just a pre-order bonus, for pre-ordering Quantum Break, I got Alan Wake, and that's pretty awesome because Alan Wake's
nice.
like a legit great game, and that's really cool that you just got it for free just for getting their new game.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish that were. I know that's like. I'm sad now that pre-order bonuses are no longer what they used to be. As I said earlier, like it used to be practical stuff, like you could actually get something that you would use instead of just something that like is either in game that is crap that you're going to use for like 5 minutes and then you're going to switch immediately, or something that's just like, oh, I got a little trinket that I have no use for. I'm just going to throw it in my case, the top drawer of my dresser is where I throw everything that I don't have a place for and don't really want to get rid of. So there it goes, top drawer. But yeah, like I kind of wish that we were like back in the day where like a hat was something you could get for a pre-order bonus. Like that's something I would use quite frequently. I wear hats almost every day. Or like shades. Just like I think it'd be really awesome if you could like pre-order something and get like something the main character wears or something. It would have to be something small like hat or shades, or maybe a ring or something. I don't know, but just make pre-order bonuses worth it for me is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Pre-ordering's already, bad in and of itself, so make it worth it for me to do something bad, essentially.
Yeah. I usually don't pre-order something unless I absolutely know that I'm going to enjoy it or I'm going to play it or buy it regardless of what it's going to end up like in the final result. I hope people don't usually get swindled by pre-order bonuses, especially since most of them are just stupid DLC crap anyways, and you're going to never use in the game.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, I got these, in terms of Destiny, it's like, oh, I got this Vanguard armory, that's so cool. Oh, I can't use the weapons until I'm like level 12, and then I'm level 13 in about 5 minutes, so they're immediately obsolete. Like Like I was talking to my friend, and he's like, "Yeah, I was so happy about those." And then I went to look at them, I got them, and then the next mission, I replaced all of them. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. They're not good. They're It's like if you're gonna give me some kind of in-game item, I want it to be something that looks good, or like maybe if it isn't good, if it's a game with transmog, I'd be happy about that. For those of you who don't know, transmog is something that they do in like Diablo and WoW, and it's taking the looks of one item and putting it on another one. So like if there was like a special transmog set or something you can only get if you pre-order, I could, if I liked it, I could theoretically see myself doing that because I like transmog. I like looking like what I want to look like. So, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess we could extend this question a little bit by saying, what's the best special edition thing you've ever gotten? Adam, you said yours, but I can go ahead and say mine. I don't buy many special editions, so my best one is probably the Destiny one, Destiny original. I don't even like the ghost thing, but I like some of the stuff. There's a patch in there I kind of want to put on a hat. Speak of the devil.
I don't know. I'd say probably. I don't know if I'd count it as a special edition, but like one of my favorite. I don't know. Would you consider like the re-releases of Metal Gear games? I'm not talking about like the remasters or like the HD versions or anything like that, but like back when they were like 2 and 3 were released on PlayStation 2, they re-released them with special additional content.
Okay, I should probably say collector's editions is what I was thinking. I mean that's
Okay.
fine if that's what you want to answer with.
I mean, like that's kind of I don't really buy them that much either. Like, there's usually not good enough reason for me to do it. Sometimes I'll see something, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I kind of want that, but I don't want to spend like twice as much for the game for it.
Yeah.
But those were some of the best deals that I got on games that I really enjoyed. And the reason why is because the additional content that were in them. It was Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance, and then 3 was Subsistence. They had, it kind of sucked for the people who had bought them first, but if you waited for any additional content to come out, there was no DLC at the time, so it was kind of just, oh, well, here's some extra fun bits that you can mess around with.
Yeah.
That was kind of worth it for me.
I have the special edition of Persona 5 on pre-order. I'm kind of excited for that.
That's cool. That's one that really has got me.
What comes with
I,
that?
I almost would.
It comes with like a backpack, among other things.
No, that
looks really cool.
That's one special edition thing I wish I gotten. The Infamous 2 special edition that came with his backpack. Like, it was one of those situations where I was like, oh, this is just gonna be crap. You're gonna be able to use it for 5 minutes, and it's gonna rip and tear or something. And my manager, because I was working at GameStop at the time, got it, and he was like, "This is a really nice backpack. I use it for everything." And I was like, "That looks really nice, and it actually works, and it's not small, and it's not ripping apart. I wish I had it now."
It's practical.
Yeah, it's practical, and it's just like it's just like, special edition, collector's edition stuff just runs the gamut of like, oh, this is really cool looking, but it's crap when you actually get it. Like the Halo Master Chief helmet, everyone was like, oh, it's a helmet you get. You can wear the helmet. And it's like everyone gets it, and it's like, I guess you can wear it if you're like a 5-year-old with a smaller than average head. So yeah, I'm always scared about stuff like that when I'm like looking at pre-order bonuses or whatever. And
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I got it up. Okay, so this is what comes in the Persona 5 PlayStation 4 Take Your Heart Premium Edition.
I'm gonna convince you to buy this thing. I hate you, Adam.
It includes a steelbook collectible case, a soundtrack CD, a 4-inch Morgana plush, 64-page hardcover art book, school bag, and collectible outer box.
Not bad.
And it's only about $30 more than the normal version.
Screw you, Adam.
Can you put a link to that in the Facebook chat?
No.
Yep, that's going.
All right, so yeah, that's I feel like we've said enough about the topic. Everyone likes their goodies when they're actually good and not crap. That's a summary of that. Thank you, Adam. But anyway, Peoples, it is. We are actually not that far off on time. Anyway, it's time to get out of here. I know everyone wants to eat, and I still don't have a closing thing, but I'm gonna just ape off of something else this time. So our schedule is to record on Sunday afternoons. That's 3:30 Eastern Standard Time and 12:30 Pacific. What is PDT? Did I mess that up? Is it PST?
PST, Pacific
Oh.
Standard Time.
I don't know what PDT is. I don't know where I got that from.
It's also that.
Okay,
Stupid.
I'm not going to change it then. Or 12:30 PDT. As you know, we're always going to be here live on twitch.tv/MongPlays when it's time to do the podcast, and we would love to have everyone who listens or wants to listen or wants to participate in chat. Excuse me. It'll usually go live on YouTube and all of our other podcast services about an hour later. You can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. So that's if you want to ask a question in general or if you want to suggest a topic for the Thought from Nowhere. We are slowly running out. So if CD Cobb wants to get prolific again, or if anyone, if fans welcome, if you want to send in a Thought from Nowhere, we'd definitely appreciate it. Keep it clean, as in something we can actually answer on podcast that wouldn't destroy our reputation as professionals. And yeah, that's the main rule. Don't be rude and stuff, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, again, that is contact.mong@gmail.com. Send in your ideas. We'll give us your name if you want us to say it. If not, we'll come up with some. We'll just say anonymous. I'll be honest. I'll say hip hop anonymous. I know I'm stealing that from Greg Miller, but I like the sound of it. And also, you can find our Mong Twitter account at mong.com. The dot is spelled out. So you can follow us there if you want to see when new news stories go up on the website, when we're going live with this podcast, or any of the other things that go on the Mong Plays Twitch channel. And also, those are the main things it's there for. It's there for alerts. And also, you can find us on YouTube at Mong Network and Middle Nor Gaming Plays. Mong Network is where the podcasts go up. So that includes Mong Podcast and Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys. And then Mong Middle Nor Gaming Plays is where the Let's Plays go. So that would be like PlayStation Plus You and Me, which is where some of our writers and people go over and play the newest PlayStation Plus games of the month. So it's a once a month little fun thing. Our Twitch channel, as I mentioned, is Mong Plays, so definitely be here. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Just look up Mong, Middle of Nowhere Gaming. You check out our website, which is Middle of Nowhere Gaming. That's where you can find everything we do and our faces. So if you want to see who else works for the site and is more than just, me, Adam, or Jordan, you can go there and check us out. And if you want to be awesome and help us keep the lights on, because keeping up a website is not free, unfortunately, you can go to our Patreon, which is Middle of Nowhere Gaming. I believe, Middle of Nowhere Gaming. You can find that if you want to donate $1, we'd be thankful. If you want to donate $5, we'd still be thankful. Whatever you want to give. And if you don't have anything to give, that's just fine too. We appreciate you listening and watching and being here. The support is loved regardless. And last but not least, if you want to find us on Twitter, us specifically, you can find me at Furious Milk. You can find Adam at
Fanboy_Adam.
And you can find Jordan at
JL_Floor.
There you go. So that's if you want to follow us personally, of course. And here are our personal views, opinions, and like my 5 a.m. tweets on is the world ending, because that's what it kind of feels like these days. Anyway, it's been fun, gentlemen. And everyone, good night and good luck.
Well,
I was trying to come up with something to say, but I couldn't come up with anything else.
wait,
Podcast's over.
are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, okay.
Y'all have a good one now.